Hello and welcome to this presentation on taking control of your financial future. My name is Chris Shea and I'm a financial advisor with BPS Financial Services, and I'd like to get into it right now with you on this presentation. We go over the agenda, ground rules. Hopefully you'll pay attention, learn, and ask me questions. Then we'll do some introductions on myself as well. But the real reason we're here is, what do you want to learn? What do you already know about helping to secure you for your financial future? So for the agenda, we're going to go over financial planning, wealth accumulation, protection, retirement planning, estate planning, and then business planning. Most of these should pertain to you. Business may or may not, but we'll talk about that a little bit anyways. Again, my name is Chris Shea. I'm a financial advisor with BPS Financial Services. I work with people to help them with their retirement, and I'm an investment partner with them to help them to reach their current and future goals that they have with their money. Because it's, again, your financial future, and I'm here to help you get there. So why is it important to do financial planning? Financial planning can help you pursue life goals. And there's a few listed here. Children of college, early retirement, starting a business, buying a vacation home, buying your first home. All these are accomplished by early planning and savings to pursue your goals. There are studies that show that 80% of those with a written plan estimated how long their assets will last. And that's nearly double those that don't have a formal written plan. The whole crux of that statistic is plan. Come up with a plan. Figure out what you want to do in your financial future and make it happen through planning. One of the questions we always get is, why should I work with someone? I can do this myself. There's a number of reasons, and a few of them are listed here. We can help people identify their current situation, understand the options available to you, because there's a lot of them, and some of them are better for circumstances and some of them are better for other circumstances. Can develop a unique plan to you for your needs and goals, and also help determine those objectives. The one that's not listed here, though, is hold you accountable. If you ever gone to the gym, you get more done when you got a personal trainer there kicking your butt and helping you to reach your goals. It works similarly with a financial professional. Protection. You've got stuff. We all accumulate stuff in life. You got to protect it. Insurance is a thing that people don't like to talk about, but you've got to get it. And you've also got to have money in the bank as your own personal insurance, right? The first thing listed here is emergency savings. And the statistic on this is, in 2007, 57% of Americans had less than $1,000 in savings. What happens when the TV breaks? What happens when the fridge breaks? What happens when the car blows a tire? All these things can be major expenses that you've got to have money in the bank for. I always recommend at least $10,000 in the bank, if not 3 to 6 months, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Life insurance. 54% of adults had no life insurance as of 2021. This is where those GoFundMe pages come into play. If you've actually been able to sit down with a professional and figure out what your protection needs to make sure that your family can subsist after you pass for some untimely reason, you're going to be better off. They're going to not need the GoFundMe page, and you're going to have a family that remembers you for what you helped with, rather than the mess that they might have been left with. Disability insurance. 1 in 4 people get disabled, and this is a major challenge to achieving your financial goals. If you're disabled and you can't work, you got no income, now you've got to take money out of your savings. Maybe you have to go in your retirement account. Maybe you get hit with a penalty. This is an absolute devastating thing for people that have a long-term disability. It can absolutely ruin their financial future. And long-term care insurance, long-term care services are needed by at least half the people over age 65. Think about how you're going to pay for it. Is it going to come out of your own personal savings? Are you going to save for an advance while you're working? There's multiple options in long-term care insurance. It can be costly, but it's a conversation you should have to see where you're at. Again, the emergency savings, the experts say 6 months of expenses. I say 3 to 6 months, but at least 10 grand. So if something happens, you can pay for it instead of putting it on a 18, 20, 25% credit card, right? Disability insurance. We talked about this. If you're unable to make in your income because you're disabled, that could ruin you. Life insurance. Again, we talked about that a little bit, and the long-term care, right? If you're unable to pay for it, it's going to be a strain on your family. Figure out a plan so that everyone's on the same page as you get older. Wealth accumulation. This is a very interesting chart and graphic that shows the advantages of starting early. You've got John, Jane, and Bill. And we're going to go through them here a little bit, but essentially, these are going to be people that contribute $100 a month for a period of time. We'll start off with John, because he started at age 33 and retired and 65, went to 65 for 32 years. He wound up with $143,000 if you get a 7% return. Jane, she contributed a lot less because she only did it for 10 years as opposed to 32 years. Yet she wound up with $174,000 because she did it from 22 to 32 and then got the compound interest on top of that for the next 33 years. Bill, on the other hand, was steady, consistent, $100 a month from age 22 to 65, 43 years, wound up with $329,000. That's not a bad deal, right? Put in about $48,000, get $329,000 back. Time is on your side for investing. Start accumulating wealth early, even if it's only a few dollars a month. Start putting money away. It can turn into significant money in the long run. When you do start to accumulate wealth, diversification is a key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? By putting your eggs in one basket, it could be a big payoff or it could be a complete bust. If you have different types of accounts and different types of investments, it gives you more flexibility because not everything goes up and down at the same time, and it gives you a more balanced return over the long run. You've got to understand taxes. You've got to understand their accessibility, and you've got to be flexible with where you're putting your money. But again, it's all about your financial future. So it's got to come down to what you feel comfortable with. And there's a thing called risk tolerance, which is, do I take risks or do I remain conservative? The riskier investments have a bigger return, but they're more volatile. The less risky have a lower return, but they're a little bit more steady. Which one do you need? Both from achieving your goals perspective and for me being able to sleep at night. Sometimes they're not going to be aligned, and you've got to weigh the factors in terms of what you want and also your feelings. You've also got to have a strategy for long-term wealth, and you've got to be committed to seeing it through. Just because the markets go up or down, or your investments go up or down, you've got to hold true to your strategy, because in most cases, the long term is in your favor and things will bounce back and go the way that you're hoping they go. Retirement planning. There's a number of things on this slide. We're going to talk about a couple of them. The big one there is Social Security. Social Security's there. It's probably going to be around for a long time. But for most Americans, they only provide 36% of their total income. That's not a lot. That means you got to provide 64%. And that can be costly. It's estimated that a couple age 65 years or older is going to need $280,000 for healthcare expenses. That's a lot of money that they've got to put into it. So your healthcare costs are going to be high, and they're rising at a big inflation, bigger than most of the rest of the economy. So understand that healthcare is going to be an expense that you got to deal with in retirement. Longevity, people are living longer, right? You've got as of a few years ago, 65-year-old male had a 55% chance of living to age 85, and a 65-year-old female had a 65% chance of reaching age 85. Your money's got to last longer. You've got to plan on it. Social Security is going to be part of it, but not entire. The whole thing for you. You've got to fund it yourself. And 49% of Americans retired earlier than they wanted to for health reasons, downsizing, family concerns. It happens. Start saving earlier. Don't wait till the last minute. And the biggest thing also in here is decline of pensions. Pensions are no longer a big thing. Everyone's got a 401k, a 403b, some sort of retirement plan, which puts the emphasis on you and you holding and making your financial future happen for you. Now, this is an interesting slide. Again, we're going to assume some annual growth on this, but everyone or a lot of people will say, I want to retire with $1 million. What do you have to do? Depends on your risk tolerance again and your age. 6% growth, it's about $700 a month if you want to start at age 30. 40, it's double that, $1,400. Age 50, you're up to $3,400 a month. That's almost 5 times as much. Start earlier. 8% growth, again, more risky. But at age 30, it's only $434 a month. 1,000 at age 40, 2,800 at age 50. So again, risk return. Do you want to be risky in your investments? Go with the larger growth, or do you want to be a little more conservative? Again, things are going to fluctuate every year, but this is assumed an average growth per year. Estate planning. If you've got extra funds left over or you've got assets, how are they going to go to your heirs? Who's going to receive it? Do you know what it's currently worth? Do you know what the taxes are on all that stuff? Will you owe federal and state taxes? Where's the money going to come from to pay for that? Plus the settlement costs, having a representative. Is stuff going to have to be liquidated to pay for things? How are you going to pay for your funeral? All these things have to be considered and put into an estate plan so that when you pass, your wishes are actually taken into consideration. There's a lot of tools out there: wills, life insurance, trust, charitable giving. If you have questions about this, there's another presentation that I have on wills, trust, and powers of attorney. You also want to definitely speak to a lawyer who specializes in estate planning, because there's lots of ways to massage the system to achieve what you want. Now, business planning. Some people, when they retire, want to start their own business, or they've got a side hustle now that they're working on. Is that really a business, though? Have you set it up as a business? Once you start a business, usually business owners are too busy managing the day-to-day than to plan for the business. So you got to plan in advance. What happens if you're not there? What happens if you're disabled or retired? Is a business set up to be a business that runs without you, or are you the most important cog? Are customers going to stay? You've got to think about all this if you have a business and plan for it. You've got to do succession planning, retirement planning, estate planning, and key employee planning if you have employees, so that, again, if something happens to you, you're going to be okay. Studies show that 1 in 3 business owners don't have a retirement plan. They're too busy working on their business to save for their financial future. Don't do that. Don't be that person. If you have a business, create your own financial future. And again, it just doesn't happen. Securing your financial future is something you actually have to work on. You got to analyze your situation, identify what you want to do, your needs, goals, develop the plan, monitor it, and adjust as things change. You've got to focus on protecting yourself if something bad happens. You got to accumulate wealth at the same time. You've got to plan for your estate, retirement planning, business planning. There's a lot to it. And the sooner you start, the more time you have, the better off you're going to be. Hopefully, we've spurred a few questions for you, and understand that you need to start planning for your financial future sooner rather than later. Hopefully, we're going to go over a summary here of what you've learned after this. You've learned enough to help you secure your financial future. And if you got an evaluation or feedback, I'd love to hear from you as well. Let me know how I'm doing. So in conclusion, hopefully you've learned the importance of financial planning, the value of protection. It is going to cost you money, but there's value in that. Being able to sleep at night knowing that if something happens, your loved ones are taken care of. Hopefully we've shown you some methods to accumulate wealth, some retirement planning strategies, the importance of estate planning, approaches to business planning, and ultimately, the most important one is the last one, the need for you to start today to make sure that you secure your financial future. Thank you much for attending this presentation. Again, Chris Shea with VPS Financial Services. Any questions, feel free to reach out.